Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a top of the table clash of Pool A between Fiji and South Africa. Now, these two sides actually met in their final pool stage fixture of last competition. That was in Singapore just last week. And in that contest, these two teams went to Golden Point. So anything can happen here. Both are once again undefeated at this stage of the comp. The first win for South Africa coming up against the Spanish, 33 points to 14. And then their second win up against Argentina, 19-12. For the Fijians, they started off with a great win over the Argentines, 26-10. And a close thriller up against the Spanish, most recently 26 points to 24, but the starting lineups have been announced. This game is probably around 10 minutes away from kicking off. I will mention currently second half of Argentina versus Spain is just about to take place, currently led by Argentina, but the starting lineups for the Fijians, it is Seville Mothonatangi, Jeremiah Matana, Natangi Bungia-Soko, Douglas Daveta, Tareo Vailawa, Vui Viwa Nadovalo, and also George Balsi. Now, we did see that concerning looking injury for Josefa Talatholo near the end of the last contest. And from that matchup, it seems like he's maybe still feeling it a bit. They have him listed as a reserve, but I don't know whether or not he will make his way onto the field. Hopefully he's going to be all right for maybe the day tomorrow, and if not, the next competition taking place. For the Fijians, for the South Africans in the starting lineup, it is David Brits, Zane Davids, Christy Grobelaar, Sebastian Job, Tristan Lays, Shilton van Wyk, and Ricardo James Duarte. So no Ryan Oosterhuizen in the starting lineup here. But at the same time, I feel like a great impact player to have making his way off the bench. We have got there, go on the Scots, says BTW. So I assume that's the later game that is taking place. We have got there, should I even bother staying up to watch New Zealand play France? I absolutely would. Mainly because of the fact that that game is kind of a playoff. In a way, if Australia do beat Great Britain, it means whoever wins France versus New Zealand is actually going to go through to the semi-finals. So New Zealand theoretically still can, although from the way that they played in their last contest up against Great Britain, it seems like it's slightly less likely. Why call it the Kiwi Lads when it's just you? It hasn't just been me, though. Throughout the years on the channel, we have had multiple other people on the channel as well, but just currently, for now, you're stuck with me throughout this weekend. Good night, Africa Sevens. Happy New Year's, brother. The fresh cut is a good sign of a 3-1 in Baltimore. Says AI underdog pick. I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea what you meant by the second half of that, but Happy New Year's to you as well. You are doing extremely well, and hope you're excited for the Six Nations coming a little bit later on tonight. We did see the French get themselves the big win in the first match over the Irish, and now two more matches of union taking place later on tonight as well. Okay. Crazy outfits at the Sevens. I actually knew those two people. One was dressed as a police officer. One of them was in the full bondage. One of them's from my town. I've just noticed at the Perth Sevens. So they are obviously having a lot of fun. But the second half of Argentina versus Spain is just now taking place. Substitutes for these two sides could be extremely crucial throughout the second half. The listed subs for Fiji are Josefa Talatholo, even though he may still be injured, Filippo Bukayaro, Tani Vanuakulu, who came off the bench in the last contest and managed to score himself 2 tries, so a real impact player for the Flying Fijians, Ioane Teba, and then also Manueli Maisamoa, the last man off the bench for the Fijians. For the South Africans, they have got Donovan Don, who's proven to be quite the impact player himself, Ryan Oosterhuizen, Luan Grilomi, Siviwe Suezwapi, and Ronaldo Young, who hasn't had a huge amount of game time throughout this competition. They did have Sekoye last week, although he is not featuring throughout this Perth Sevens comp. Irish got a spate. I wouldn't spoon stir, says the II underdog pick, although I feel like they will bounce back. The Irish, at the end of the day, the Six Nations, it doesn't seem like a long competition, but there's still plenty of games still to take place, and a lot can happen throughout those rounds. Speaking of a lot happening, there is another try for the Argentines in the contest, making it now 24 points to 7 in favour of Los Pumas. Now, I will mention the outcome of that game doesn't affect anything when it comes to the top two of this group. Currently, South Africa versus Fiji. They can both go into this game knowing that they've made their way through to the next stage of the competition. Now, GB, if they were to lose to Australia, the loser of this contest between Fiji and South Africa will face the Australian hosts. But there is still a lot, like I mentioned, that can happen. Theoretically, we could still end up with the same top 4 roughly as we had last week, with the inclusion of the Australians rather than either New Zealand or France. Okay, so if New Zealand beat France, win by more than 7, and Oz beat GB, New Zealand go through, I believe so, yes. If I've done the maths correctly, but France at the moment, they are sitting on the 3 points in the group. Great Britain are sitting on 3 points as well, and New Zealand are sitting on 4 points. Sitting on 2 points. So, yeah, theoretically, even if France were within 7, if New Zealand get their win up against the French, they can still go through. So the only thing that will stop that is if France win or Great Britain win. If either of those two sides win, they confirm their spot. Whereas if New Zealand beat France, they also can theoretically confirm their spot as long as GB don't win. So there's still a lot that can happen throughout that group. On the other side of things, this one is much simpler. Fiji and South Africa are through. It's just more of the case of who they are going to be playing. But in the women's side of things, it has been confirmed that it will be New Zealand versus France as one semi-final. That is the earlier of the two semis tomorrow, and then Australia versus USA, that is the other. So Canada missing out on the round of the 4 sides this time, as they did suffer the loss to the French. But do let me know your score predictions for this contest, ladies and gentlemen. These two sides, like I said, they went to Golden Point the last time that they did go head-to-head. So still plenty more excitement to be had. And perhaps, I love a Golden Point game. I don't think we've had one yet for the Perth Sevens, or at least the games that we have covered on the channel, we haven't experienced Golden Point. The second round, when all the sides were playing, it did seem the most likely, with a lot of close games being separated by 7 or less, which is why even the sides that have been struggling, such as New Zealand, have got themselves 2 points rather than 0. It's because of getting those bonus points along the way and keeping themselves in the hunt. But Spain have started a bit of a comeback. We might see a bonus point situation or a golden point situation here between Spain and Argentina if we're not too careful. Moa needs game time. I assume that is from the AI underdog pick. And the Hurricanes sucked. Says Carmen there for that earlier game up against the Chiefs. I can't believe that that was about 10 hours ago that game did take place. We did cover it on the channel. So it's been a little while since that. I look at in the lineouts and carries. Says the AI underdog pick. Currently still 4 minutes remaining in this Argentina versus Spain contest. I will mention whoever wins in this match, they will get themselves the number 1 qualification spot in Pool A. And just to put that into perspective, you get the earliest semi-final if you win this contest. That will be taking place at 5:57 p.m. New Zealand time tomorrow, which would be 6:57 a.m. for you guys in South Africa. So a really early morning start for that semi-final fixture. And then the loser of this game, they will face off at 6:19 p.m. New Zealand time or 7:19 a.m. in South African time. The final is going to be taking place at 10:04 p.m. New Zealand or 11:04 a.m. for you guys in South Africa on Sunday afternoon. So not terrible timing in that regard. And then also the bronze final, which both Fiji and South Africa have already theoretically qualified for at least. That is taking place at 8:57 p.m. New Zealand time, 9:57 in South Africa. So hopefully that explains when all the matches are going to be taking place. Seeing as we've only got the 8 teams, we no longer have a quarterfinal fixture. Instead, it is just straight to the semi. I couldn't capitalise. So here's our underdog pick. The game's better be good in 2 weeks. And what are the score in the Spain versus Pumas game? At the moment, they are sitting 19-19 with 3 minutes remaining. Juan Ramos has an important kick. He did actually miss that last-minute kick up against the Fijians, but he got that one, so that makes it now 21-19 in favour of Spain with only a couple minutes remaining. Now, whoever wins that contest will have the slightly better draw when it comes to the 5th place semi-finals. Those are taking place a bit earlier on for the other games do start and starter at pre-season 2. So here's the AI underdog pick. Yeah, Love, he didn't really get going, did he, in that contest, unfortunately, but I assume once the regular season is underway, he will be doing extremely well. I will mention Vui Viwa Nadovalo. He is playing in this contest, but he has now become the 2nd highest try scorer on the overall series. He's just been overtaken by Jeremy Trevor Thick. We'll have to wait and see if that is the way that it stays by the end of the competition or whether he does get to that next level. Maybe get himself a hat-trick. He did score 3 tries up against Spain in the opening contest of the Singapore Sevens. So he's shown that he can do it. He scored 20 tries throughout the series, but a few of the South African players, the likes of a Tristan Lades, a Shilton van Wyk, I mentioned about it in my preview, they've been a little bit more quiet than you'd expect for players of that caliber. So hopefully we do see them really fire up throughout this matchup, as well as the games taking place tomorrow. Of course, it's a little bit tricky when you don't know who your opposition is going to be. There's nothing certain about this next group as of yet. The first game of that next grouping is New Zealand versus France, and we will be covering that one in about 25 minutes time. Somewhere around there is when that match will take place. We have got Mariana has said go Fiji, go. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to let me know your score predictions for this contest. I said in my preview that I wanted to see it go to Golden Point. And in that case, I actually said that this time, if it goes to Golden Point, South Africa may sneak it. Now, it can easily go the other way, though. As we know, Fiji are never out of a contest till the game is over. Spain have just scored again, so I would say that that will secure them the victory over Los Pumas. But, so many times, even in the final is a perfect example for the Fijians. They ended up conceding 2 tries early up against the French, going 12-0 down at half-time. And then from there, they fought back into the game, scored 3 successful tries in the second half, and went on to win the Singapore Sevens gold medal. Now, they have won that one back-to-back. Perth Sevens last year, we did see the final be Argentina versus Australia, which is still a chance of taking place if the Australians do win up against Great Britain. They can at least kind of book themselves a spot through, but Argentina are no chance of making it to the final, so no matter what, there will be at least one difference, if not maybe even 2. Compared to what we saw last week. But once again, for anyone who is just tuning in now, the starting lineups are as follows. Seville Mothanothangi, Jeremiah Matana, Bungi Nasoko, Douglas Davita, Tario Vailawa, Vui Viwa Nadovalo, and also George Balsi. Off the bench for the Fijians, they've got Josefa Talafolo, Ioane Timba, who is actually out of the starting lineup for Douglas Davita, Manuel Maisa Moa, Tani Vanuakula coming off the double, and also Filippo Bocayaro. For the South Africans in their starting side, it is David Brits, Zane Davids, Christy Robela, Sebastian Job, Tristan Lades, Shilton Van Wyk, and Ricardo James Duarte. Off the bench, Saviwe Soyas-Wapi, the experienced captain, Ronaldo Young, Wilhelmi, which is the absolute opposite of Saviwe Soyas-Wapi when it comes to experience. I believe this is his debut tournament, or it might actually be his second. I believe he played last week in Singapore. Ryan Oosterhuizen, and also Donovan Don, the last man in the South African side. So plenty of excitement around the corner. Argentina now have one last attacking chance to be able to get back into this contest by the looks of it. South Africa by 2. Maybe difficult one to pick, says Richard. Yeah, this one's really hard to choose who's going to win this game, because of course last time, this might be a try for Marcos Maneta. No, in fact, Spain are going to grab it, kick it into touch, and that is the end of the contest. Spain win their game up against Los Pumas, and they will book themselves the 3rd place in this group. But yeah, honestly, this one could go either way, and I think if they played it 10 times over, it'd probably sit 5 wins for each of the teams, which is why it's such an exciting game to have as a closing group stage fixture. It's also reaching the evening in Perth at the moment, sitting 6:53, I believe the time is at the moment in Perth. No matter what, South Africa and Fiji, they have qualified for the semi-finals, and they will soon know exactly who they are going to be playing. New Zealand versus France happening just after this game, followed by Australia versus Great Britain. So that will tell us a couple other gaps that do need to be filled, but it is the number 1 ranked side, Fiji, versus the number 3 ranked side, South Africa. Both of these sides have won a Sevens leg throughout this season. And also New Zealand, another side that were able to get themselves the gold medal as well, by both sides now making their way onto the field. Actually, while Argentina and Spain are still on the field as well, so just really scooting along. And they know that they're running a couple minutes behind schedule, but that is what happens with the Sevens at the end of the day. Sometimes the games do run that little bit longer. But this is the type of game I think everyone wants to run longer. Get as much time out there on the field watching these two sides as we physically can. But Fiji, they are dangerous when they get going. They've had a couple slow starts throughout the Sevens circuit as of late, but they have still gone on to win a majority of their games. They're looking to do the same here. They are doing the huddle on the halfway line here. Fiji getting ready to go. Josefa Talafolo not in the starting lineup for this contest. And no Ryan Oosterhuizen either, so actually both number 2s for these sides are going to be starting from the sideline. Going to bring that impact later on in the contest. South Africa, they are going to be kicking off this one from right to left to get us underway. And we're now ready to go for the last game of Pool A. Kicked off long, nicely taken by Seva Mothonafangi. Missed tackle early on from Zane Davids. Offload coming here from the Fijians. That is something that you will see a lot of throughout this game. And woo-woo, says Mariana there. Now passed across, it is going to be the advantage for Fiji due to a high shot coming from South Africa. 40 metres out from their own line. The Flying Fijians finding the offload up to Seva Mothonafangi. These two sides have had a few hours break since the last match. A no-look pass out the back from Fiji. George Balsi testing out his step, trying to break his way through the South African defence. Ricardo James Duarte on the ball. That should be his penalty. Yes, it is. And unfortunately for Fiji, one of the players who were going in for the clean-out did slip over, stopped himself from being able to join that breakdown, and because of it, the Blitzboks get themselves the early penalty. They have called for the scrum as well. Already we see a medic out there on the field. That is a bit of a concern here for the South Africans. Looked like he was going over to Shilton Van Wyk. Tough games, these African stories. Yeah, honestly, it could easily go either way, and it looks like a little bit of maybe surface moisture as the reason why that Fijian player did slip over next to the breakdown. And if you're going for Fiji, here's Andy there too. Okay, just a bit of confirmation going on at scrum time at the moment, but a bit of concern in back play for Shilton Van Wyk. Hopefully he's going to be all right to continue. The last thing that either of these sides need is another injury at the end of day one, with day two just around the corner. Oh, interesting. This is actually going to be an HIA for number 12, Shilton Van Wyk. So obviously he has taken a head knock, which is why the medic came onto the field relatively quickly. Just checking to make sure that he is all right. And he looks confused, but he has got some blood trickling down his eye, so obviously he's taken some sort of shot to his head. Looks like his cheek is actually relatively swollen too. So they're just going to assess this man, make sure that he's all right to continue. Come on, Fiji, says Andy, and go Fiji, says Maria. Or Mariah, it actually is. I just realised I'm really mispronouncing your name. I do apologise there. And probably need a breather like 15s. Says the underdog pick. There's going to be another advantage here in favour of South Africa. That is due to offside against Fiji. Some nice attacking running from Shilton Fun. Oh, sorry, that was from Ricardo James Duarte. Looks like they are going to go back for the initial penalty due to one of the South Africans diving in off the breakdown. Okay, scrum is called again by the Blitzboks. So that advantage was not over. They will go back to the original penalty. Blitzboks, they won't mind the slightly slower, methodical pace. Definitely since both of these sides have already made their way through to the next stage. So there isn't a lot left to prove for these two teams. It's more so just survival and make sure that you don't end up with any sort of injuries before the end of the day. Oh, okay. Time has been called off by Nick Hogan. Okay, Nick Hogan has pretty much just said to the two front rows, stop messing around. You're here to play rugby. Obviously, both front rows having a little bit of a dispute about where their heads go. Nick Hogan telling them they know exactly where they should be. So, sort it out. Go Fiji, go, says Vakaduwai. Now breaking off the back, Ricardo James Duarte, big wide cutout pass, has travelled in a backwards direction. But still the attack will start for the Blitzboks off the scrum. Ricardo James Duarte back across now. David Brits going into the hands of Tristan Lays. Short pass to Zane Davids. He's got enough pace to get over the try line. Oh, and a little bit of afters there as well from Zane Davids. Goes nose to nose with the Fijian who did try and make the tackle on him. He's not happy, the big man. He's fired up as well, but he has scored the opening try of this contest now. Go like that, and we go like that. 5-0 now. Big driving tackle on Tristan Lades. Yeah, I'm not sure why Zane Davids, don't get me wrong, it was slightly late, but he was still in the motion of trying to get the ball out of his hands. Lades put that on a plate. Yeah, it was a brilliant pass from Lades. I mentioned in the preview how he is known for his assists more so than his try scoring. And Tricky Ricky Brew says Anil there. And also, what is up, my guy, says Joel. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. We are on the second last Sevens live stream of the day. That one's going to be kicked off high now. South Africa also adding the additional 2. So leading in this game at 7 points to 0. Have got there, Billabro. Says Estapel, welcome in. Fiji. It's not the first time that they've been down in terms of the scoreboard, but they certainly have made a lot of comebacks throughout their time. Vuiviwa Nadovalo offloading to keep the ball in the field of play. Now nice run forward from Bungina Soko. He was the super sub in the last event. He's going to be caught by Tristan Lades, or at least he could have been, but the ball has been dropped by Fiji as they look for the offload. And it's great defence from the Blitzboks, showing off that pace of Tristan Lades to be able to catch up, but it looks like there is an injury now for the Blitzboks. They will be playing with 6. It's now Fiji 7-7, not yet, says Fiji Vibes. And also just had a massive 1 hour argument with a girl. So I'm not doing well at all. How do you have an argument for an hour? Was it in person or over like text or something? Going off to the left-hand side. Looks like South Africa are back to the full 7, although it does seem like one player is still a little bit hesitant. Big driving tackle on Zane Davids. Christy Robela, another advantage in favour of the Blitzboks. Now Lades plays half. Zane Davids, yeah, he doesn't look too flashy out here on the wing. It looks like he's just out there for the sake of it until the next stoppage. Loose ball. Oh, double blow of the whistle, and Fiji will be going to the bin. It's a yellow card now for, I want to say it's Daveta here, who has been penalised for the deliberate knock-on. And yeah, Bulla. And soon 7-7, says Andy. So it's just in the process of making the tackle there. Ricardo James Awate looks straight to the referee like a good halfback does. And begs him for the penalty and receives. The Veta now off the field for another 2 minutes though. Perfect door of window of an opportunity for the South Africans to score again before the half-time break. Oh, time is back on. So yeah, 2 minutes remaining of Daveta's yellow card. And then about 1 second extra is when halftime will take place. A ball is fed in once again. Ricardo James Duarte breaking off the back, trying to create a bit of space on the outside. Poor South Africa, Donovan Don cutting back inwards. There's another advantage against Fiji. Ill discipline is really starting to take its toll on this Fijian side, who have hardly touched the ball throughout this first half. Donovan Don, he is out there off the bench, tackled by Bolsi. Comes back for Christy Hrubala. We've got to remember Fiji still defending with only 6 men on the field. Now passed across to the right-hand side. Out wide. Chance here for the corner, and he will score it. I'm not sure what happened there for the Fijian defender, but he didn't even go for the tackle attempt. And it means that South Africa can run it in with Sebastian Job. Points to his wrist in celebration. That one should make it a nice, easy conversion. This is happening a little bit too often, I think, for Fiji's liking. The fact that they keep on going down by 2 tries up against a lot of opposition. Will you be live for when Fiji and draw versus Moana? I am hoping to be, yes. That is happening next week, isn't it? If I am right. Is it next week or is it the week after? I think it's next week. Go to the Blitzboks. You can do this. There's at the net there. Eugene told me it will be 7 points to 30. Says Andy. 7 points to 30. So that means someone's taken 1 or 2 threes along the way, haven't they, to get to 30 points? Rather than 31 or 29. But time is off now. 14-0 in favour of the South Africans. And next week says Fiji 5. So yeah, I am hoping to cover a lot of the Fiji and Rua matches throughout the season. Tristan Lades ready to kick this one off, and they would love nothing more than to strike once more before that yellow card expires. Kicked high now. He slapped that look forward off to Rio Vailauris at the hand of David Brits. And it looks like it is going to be a line out here for Fiji. Oh, Zane Davids goes to the bin. Nick Hogan's sick of him. Zane Davids throws that ball away. And the referee says no more of that. Oh, there's going to be the penalty now awarded to Fiji rather than their line out. I watched them all stroke away an 18-point lead. The Chiefs won, so we good, says John. And here we go, says African Stories. Yeah, 6-on-6 in this match. There's always that little bit of extra feeling when these two sides go face-to-face. Now running through here for Fiji, trying to get the move going. Vuiviwa Nadovalo with the carry. Now big fend on the outside. Bungina Soko does manage to score it right in the corner for Fiji. And again, before the halftime break, they managed to strike as the last team to score. Ashish, your pronunciations are so perfect. How do you do it? A lot of practice has gone into some of these names because I've butchered them so many times in the past that eventually we had to start getting the names right. But Bongina Soko with a big fend on Donovan Don. Calm down, brother Hamish. Says Zeta, I should say. What was that ball for? But what was that for? Ball throwing? I think it was a little bit to do with ball throwing, but also the pushing off the ball after the ball was out, I think was what took Nick Hogan over the edge. But that is going to be the end of the first half. 14 points to 5 in favour of the Blitzboks. So they are still leading nicely. What do you think about the new Fijian Roar team now? With some new guys in. I mean, the physicality looks like it's there for the Fijian Roar, which to be fair, it always is. It's just whether or not they can win away from home. That's the big goal for the Fijian Roar. But who was it in that first game? I think, was it Vakatava? I was keeping a close eye on. He seemed to be like the real deal in the midfield. Who else did they have in that game? I feel like they've always got the strong loose forwards, though. The Fijian Roar, they just need to get it right, and they could be a real contender. I do think that they will, or they should, beat Moana Pacifica. Fiji Warriors always will be, and come on the Stormers. Says Bruce there. Now, second half just about to get underway between these two sides. Fiji will be back to 7 as Douglas Davida will make his way back onto the field after his yellow card exclusion. Zane David still will be off for another 90 seconds or so. So that could be when Fiji really need to try and hit the afterburners, get back into this contest and completely change the game. They came, now we're close to playoffs, says the AO underdog pick. And yes, says Fiji vibes. And there too. But yeah, the finals and the semi-finals both taking place tomorrow. We will be covering them on the channel. Probably, I'd say we'll have about maybe 6 to 8 live streams taking place throughout tomorrow for the Sevens. Also, next, we've got that match between Fiji and France. And then from there, we've also got the 2 games of the Six Nations taking place. Still another probably 5 or so hours of streaming, if not more. I can't wait for Super Rugby playoffs. I'm so excited, says John. Playoffs are a little way away. We've still got the regular season to get through first, of course. Tasaviti says Akta. And here we go again, says African Stories. And big man, they do not like pity, says Andy. And there too. But 8 minutes away from the Fiji versus New Zealand kickoff in Perth. Second half about to start. Fiji, they'll be kicking off this one from right to left. As it's the last game of the Blitzboks today. It is, yes. And then their next game will be tomorrow in the semi-final as they have booked themselves that spot. Bongina Soko, oh my. He's just gone straight through everybody and looks like he may have just scored the try at the start of the second half. The referee will need to see this one again. It looked like Young put in a decent tackle attempt on him, but it will be, again, Fiji looking to strike straight away after a halftime break. Good afternoon, Hamish. How are you today? I'm doing very well. We have been going since about 1 p.m. That might be held up. That might be a phenomenal bit of work from the youngster off the bench, Ronaldo Young. No try. It is called as held up. So it will become a 5-metre scrum here for the Fijians. So still a very good attacking position. A 5-metre scrum. And also good afternoon, everyone. And Hamish, your top bloke, thank you. And good evening. Says Andy there. It was a big run from Bongina Soko initially, but a brilliant bit of defence. It looked like he was going over for all money, but Young got under him. Managed to stop it. Good ref. Has the power in the Sevens. Says the underdog pick, and it's 11 a.m. here. Says Big Rig. South Africa's conceded the fewest tries this season, only 2.3 per game. So their defence has been what has won them a lot of games, I think, with Fines Liliawasa in the drawer. And now it can help the Fijians out. He's a handy enough halfback. He was always good for the Western Force, wasn't he, when he was given the chance? There's a space out wide. Fiji will run it in. And it is Vuiviwa Nadovalo. Goes back to 21 tries alongside Trevor Thick. Timo didn't see that. Says the underdog pick. And come on, Fiji, says Bok there. As they just get themselves back into the contest once more. This game is far from over, ladies and gents. These two teams went to Golden Point last week. I don't think it's going to happen again, just with the missed conversions and whatnots we have seen, but it certainly isn't impossible. Yellow card across the box here, says Thuds Rays. Yeah, that yellow was Zane Davids. 2 tries throughout that time we saw scored by the Fijians. Now slap back. Oh, big knock on from South Africa. They were all but through, and I don't think anyone would have caught Tristan Lades. Going back now for these scrums. Still 6 minutes remaining on the clock. It looks like Zane Davids will be able to make his way back out onto the field now, but at what cost to his side? Seems like another change is also happening. And it is the youngster Gromi, who makes his way on. Go Fiji, go, says Avakush. And Bulavanaka guys, it's 3 a.m. in Cali. You are certainly committed to this Fijian side. I will mention the next game, I think, is at a slightly better time for you guys in the US. Will be taking place in around 17 hours' time. So what would that make it? I guess that would be a little bit earlier. Still a PM game though, right? Maybe. About probably 8 p.m., somewhere around there. How's it, Hamish? Says Red Hell. Welcome in, mate. You are doing very well. This game is close at the moment. 10 points to 14. Still in favour of the Boks. And go Fiji, go, says Andy. And Fiji is doing the comeback. They have done it many times. And that is why it's so hard to play this Fijian side, because you think you've got them beat. And then they just fire up even more. Now, Te Reo Lawa passes it across to Viua Nadovalo, I should say, running it sideways. Now passes across, a bit of a low pass, but well handled by the captain, Jeremiah Matana. It's 11 past 10 in Fiji. Oh, okay, so Fiji's actually an hour behind us in New Zealand now. I didn't actually realise that. I thought we were on the same time zone. Now, George Balsi. Looks like Fiji a little bit stagnant in their attack here. Te Reo Lawa tries to shift it away to the right to see if there's any sort of space that can open up on the outside. Bongi Nasoko again accelerates, looks for the offload. It's going to go back into the hands of Viua Nadovalo. And it's try number 3 for the Fijians. They get themselves another in the second half, and they have gone from 14-0 down to taking the lead. There's a reason they are called the Comeback Kings. As it is referenced many times, they have got back into this game when it looked like it was all down and out. But they just find a way of creating chances. Avanaka, says Alvin there. And we have got there, says Mikhail there. And also we have got there Avanaka. And I'm looking at it, Fiji just scored. Yeah, they certainly did. Looking for the extra additional 2, missing away to the side. Score still sits 15 points to 14 with 4 minutes remaining. Now, the thing is, this game is still not over because, yes, Fiji have had a comeback, but at the same time, we've seen South Africa do it as well. Are you too good with your Fijian name pronunciation? Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. We've had a lot of time calling these games with the Fijian Sevens. I believe since about the Olympics in 2020 or so was the first time we did some Sevens on the channel, and ever since then I've done as many leagues as physically possible. I think we've gone about 3 years now without missing a league of the Sevens too. Hello from Kazakhstan, says Jonathan, so welcome in. And Fiji, says Romeo there too. Now Fiji to kick this one off with Ioane Timba. They had added those additional 3 extra conversions. The scoreline could be sitting in a very different position. But for now, it keeps the South Africans in the game. Now Ronaldo Young steps his way through one, tackled on the halfway line. Manueli Maisa Moa in the breakdown and wins the penalty for Fiji once more. Anyway, excellent presenter, says Mahodindo, appreciate it. And we are going to be here all throughout tomorrow as well. Lots of scrums being called rather than taps, says Studs Race. Yeah, it has actually been a trend that we've seen predominantly this year and maybe a bit of last year, how a lot more sides are looking at their set piece rather than just keeping that game flowing as quickly as they can. And I think that comes down to the heat that these games are being played in as well. What is the time now in New Zealand? What do you do to keep awake, says Seller? So it's currently 12:15 a.m., so just after midnight here in New Zealand. I guess just streaming is the way that I keep myself awake. We've got plenty more coming up in the near future too. Now going away to the left-hand side for the Fijians. Manueli Maisa. They're only up by 1 point, but if they can score now, that was high for Ricardo James Awarte. He is susceptible to giving away a high tackle. In fact, double blow of the whistle, and he's going to end up with the yellow card. That is a massive call from the referee, who has been card hungry throughout this match so far. That is now card number 3 in this contest. Ricardo James Duarte, he's going to make his way off of the field now. He did apologise for it. He was hoping the referee wouldn't reach for the pocket, but he did. Go Fiji, go, says Jim there. And also we have got there a blue screen, and I love keeps him awake. And also we have got there Scott's going to have to play well, says, by the way. And card hungry, says Andy in there. Yeah, 3 throughout this. Oh my, yellow for that. Yeah, that seemed a little bit harsh on Ricardo James Duarte. Now going to the short side here for the Fijians. They are playing up against a 6-man South African defence. Filippo Pukayaro going back infield, trying to break through the tackle attempts here for Fiji. Sabiwe Soyas-Wapi looking for the turnover, can't quite get it. Filippo Pukayaro moves it away to the right-hand side. It's a chance here for Ioane Timber. He goes over. And it's the 4th try of the match for the Fijians. They have to get this conversion though, because if they don't, they still aren't completely out of the woods with this Blitzboks team. They are strong enough that you give them 2 minutes at the end of a game, they can get a converted try. They've scored many between the posts, so Fiji need one of these to kick over. I just realised that you never live on Aussie Women's Sevens pool matches. Nothing against the Aussie women, it's just that they're too good in pool stage. And I talked about it on that New Zealand versus USA match that ended about 31-0. The only reason we don't cover a lot of the women's sevens group stage fixtures is because there's a lot of one-sided games. You know, Australia have dominated their group stage yet again, getting the big win over the Canadians, which looked like it was going to be their toughest test. But yeah, we normally cover their playoff games. It's just those group stage ones that, you know, are always going one way. Now 20 points to 14, the lead for Fiji, but because of 4 missed kicks, big bump off from Zane Davids now. Yeah, because of those missed kicks, it keeps South Africa in this contest well and truly. If they score now and convert, they will win this game, but they are 1 man down. They certainly have the heart to keep on going. Christy Robela. In fact, no, that's going to be a high tackle from Fiji too. Surely if it's a high tackle from one team, it's a high tackle from the other. George Balsi, though, has managed to get the turnover for Fiji. That one didn't actually look that much worse than Ricardo James Duarte's, and Fiji awarded the penalty. So it goes from bad to worse for the Blitzboks. I think they're just asking how that didn't happen to go their way. We have got there, she's got to kick those kicks. And Fiji got the ball right now, they certainly do, currently on the halfway line. Going to see the replay and the breakdown though. George Balsi got straight onto the ball. That is stressing me, says Andy. Yeah, because of those missed kicks, once again, it is still close enough that it could go either way for these two sides. But the one thing that we can't have is golden point. That is guaranteed. Unless, of course, for some reason, South Africa decided to go for 2 drop kicks and got them both. 14 minutes, says Manu Dola. And we are very close to the end of this contest. If the Fijians win this game, they will face more than likely the winner of New Zealand versus France. We could once again see a Fiji versus New Zealand semi-final. And on the other side, it could actually end up being South Africa versus the host Australia. That seems like the most likely at the moment, but we will have to wait and see. Of course, there's still a couple of results that have to happen for that to occur. Of course, New Zealand would still have to beat the French, which might be tough to do. Going off to the right-hand side, Meliwele Samoa. There's currently 12 seconds remaining on the clock, so Fiji just looking to use up the rest of this time while also keeping the attack going. Tani Vanuakula. It's going to be tackled, wrestled down by Reynolds de Hazen. And now bounce past Meliwele Samoa. He will kick this ball out, and Fiji have made a 14-0 comeback to score 4 uncontested tries to win this game. 20 points to the 14. They booked themselves number 1 spot in their semi-final. They will be going head-to-head up against more than likely either New Zealand, Australia, or France. And just to put that into perspective as well, that game is going to be kicking off at 5:57 New Zealand time. So that'll be 4:57 p.m. for you guys in Fiji. Tomorrow, we'll be covering that game on the channel, so be sure to stick around for that match. But nonetheless, the next game is just around the corner. That is going to be France versus New Zealand. That will help confirm who has a chance of going through to the next stage, so be sure to tune in for that one too. But I thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.